Hello and welcome back to Oxygen Not Included. Let's play episode 95. Let's get right to it. So, I want to finish up, hopefully in this episode, sort of the last pieces of our rocketry. These are unreachable because of this. It's fine. I'd like to finish up the last pieces of our rocketry, get our gantry and everything hooked up, and also get this system up and going. Start generating our steam. The steam we should be able to get pretty quickly. So liquid oxygen is going to take a long time to go. Also because we're going to have a lot of thermal capacity in the system, because basically this entire bottom layer is going to be liquid oxygen before we start pumping stuff out. Because I kind of want to make sure that I get it to a really cold temperature first. We can eventually go back in and fix that if we want to get those last pieces of liquid oxygen out. But I think I like the setup right now. I think we're going to basically keep it until we end up relocating this. Jobs mastered? Is that an old message? Nope, it isn't. Okay. Meep, you're done as an exosuit engineer. And we are ready to send you on to be... Let's have you work as an apprentice architect. Anybody else finish up anything important? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. Alright, so temperature-wise, this place is getting pretty hot because of all the regolith that we've been cooling off over here. This also needs to be dumped somewhere. Let's go ahead and give a sweep order to that. Looks like they forgot about it. Alright, so we're going to finish up the sort of top walls up here, and then we're going to start mining out all the regolith that's over here. Bit by bit, just get all this stuff done. Yeah, finish up that last bunker tile. And then we'll be able to launch our rocket there. This can be enabled, because now I have the automation hooked up, which is fine. Brake starts at 90, brake ends at 15. Okay. Yeah, I think this will be fine. This is going to fill up a little bit. We're ultimately going to expand it out to here, and I think just have basically this entire area as a regolith cooling room for the regolith that we want to use in various applications. Voles. Ugh. I'm not a big fan of voles. Alright. We keep having... Is this polluted ice melting here? Yeah, it's this polluted water causing us a little bit of issues. This is super cold, though. Anyways, okay. Back on target. How are we doing down here? Almost vacuumed out this entire place. We'll let it go a little bit longer. I'm not in a rush to get this gold volcano up. There is sort of a question of what we plan on doing with this gold volcano, and I think that ultimately ties into what we plan on doing with regolith in general, because there's always, and that actually ties into how exploity we plan on being, and whether or not we want to. These are being supplied with oxygen. Do I have power down here? I do. So these are just waiting for suits. Let's deliver a couple suits here. Not that they're super necessary right now, because anybody who's coming up here is already going through this checkpoint, but just to make sure. Yeah, we're going to slowly start digging out all of this. But, yeah, so regolith, as you can tell from... where is it? Filtration medium. We have 564 tons of regolith at this moment. That is a lot of regolith. We are cooling down a lot of it, but it's a lot of regolith. And it's only going to get more as we mine out all these massive piles of regolith that exist, and also as more rains down upon us. Now, they have created shovels, which allows us to turn regolith into meat, effectively. But I'm not really a super big fan of shovels. We already have a way to get meat. We have plenty of hatches over here that are going to eat a lot of rock. We don't really need... In fact, maybe we should just start feeding them clay. Definitely don't want to be feeding them dirt. Am I feeding them dirt? Yeah, dirt should not be what I'm feeding them. That is not one of the things I want to feed them. There's a lot of it, but I'd rather feed them stuff like igneous rock. So one option is you turn it into clay by taking polluted oxygen and turning it into oxygen with the deodorizer, using Regolith as the filtration medium, and that converts your Regolith to clay, which you can then feed to the hatches to make coal, which is all well and good. You can also, if you choose, run it through a water filter and get polluted dirt, which you can turn into dirt if you like, or sand if you heat it up a little bit. So you have some options. You can also melt it down into magma, which is a pretty interesting thing, largely using the glass forge to provide molten glass at 2,000 degrees Celsius, which you're then going to use to melt everything down. This is at 46%. There's only one left here. Okay, I think we're fine. But you start running into the issue of how you plan on cooling your base. Why is this thing not getting built? Awaiting iron ore delivery. Let's increase the priority on this and see if we can't get this built. Because this is the one thing kind of stopping us at the moment. Though not really. What are my contents in here? This is all oxygen, right? I don't really want any polluted oxygen here. Whoops. Let's go ahead and stick a deodorizer just for the moment. Stick a deodorizer right here, get rid of any polluted oxygens in the area. There's little bits of it from when we opened up here, basically. Alright. You start asking yourself the question, how am I going to cool down things? A really kind of exploity answer, which works, is you use steam turbines. I feel like this is a really exploity answer, though, because... Let me sweep up all this. I feel like it's a really exploity answer because steam turbines aren't really meant to just delete heat. But it's a really trivial thing to do in the latest way that steam turbines work. Basically, steam turbines, since their inception, haven't really had a whole lot of legitimate uses. It's really hard to make them work just as a normal way of doing things, and it's really easy to make them work as really exploity things, like having infinite free power with no cost or downside or anything. Just by basically glitching a tile underneath it to always be hot. It's really easy to make them work with very minimal steam because you can mess with the conditions that are necessary for the steam turbine to operate by blocking off a lot of the tiles underneath it, creating a low pressure gas above it, things of that sort. A lot of weird different things you can do to make steam turbines just spit out as much power as you want and eat up as much heat as you want. And so I'm not really a big fan of them as a result. How are we doing over here? Yeah, anything that's at like 55 right now, I'm willing to dump. We're gonna go through, create some more room for ourselves here. That's hot. That's hot. Hot. Alright. So, how you want to deal with the Regolith kind of depends upon what exploity stuff you want to use. I opt to use pretty much no exploity stuff. So, the downside of that... Oh, wow. Who are you? Devin. The new guy. Oh, they're always so slow at the beginning. I don't think we'll be basically building any steam turbines this entire run, and that's kind of for a couple reasons. One is that, again, I just feel there's no real good legitimate uses for them. But also, things that don't have a lot of actual legitimate uses probably aren't working the way that devs intended. And the consequence of that is that they're likely to be changed. And you don't really want your entire base breaking just because you decided to build something using an item that was going to change. I also often avoid using doors as like pumps and other things that people have been using them for, kind of for the same reason. I don't expect them to change, but I worry about a future in which they do decide to change something about them and then suddenly your entire base doesn't work. You know, it's not the worst thing in the world because let's cancel our sweeps of those. It's not the worst thing in the world because you can always just make a new base, but I think that's the main actual risk that you face going into the later game is not your base running out of food, running out of oxygen, running out of any of these things. It's your base falling apart because something got patched that changed the way things worked, and now everything's broken. So I try to avoid relying on any one thing working in a certain way. What do we have here? Two guys that we don't want because we don't have anything interesting there. We have 2,000 kilograms of water. We also have briar seeds. I feel like we can always get more water, even though this is really valuable. I'm gonna take the seeds, so I don't think we can really get any more of those pretty much ever, except for taking trips with the ship. The temperature down here is a little bit too hot for these incubators. Kind of need to repair them. And I think we'll just get rid of them after we're done. I didn't even really, I suppose, need to incubate these guys. We could have just moved them down somewhere, right? Created a storage bin, dropped them off there, and then emptied the storage bin. Where's this guy going? Supplying critical materials. Interesting. Alright. So these are at importance level 3 and they're getting done. So we need to create some more tasks for our guys to do. Alright. So this is all hooked up, right? We also just need to start digging out larger areas. Yeah, I think we have a little bit more room left. Refined metal. Let's go ahead and drop all the iron. We can drop the mafic rock here. Just making a little bit more space for all of our stuff. That's not a lot. But yeah, there's a question of how much sort of buggy stuff you want to use. And if you're willing to use a lot of it, then you can do a lot of different builds at the risk of them then patching the game and you losing everything. If you're not really willing to accept that risk, then you kind of do what we're doing right now, I think, which is probably going to be just looking to delete a lot of this regolith. We'll need some of it nice and cool, that way we can run our filters and everything like that, but right, we need something for these deodorizers. This has this is running on sand. That's not really what I want. How did they get sand in that one when there's regolith, all this regolith nearby? I have no idea. Anyways, but yeah, you want to avoid using more exploity stuff, and so I think steam turbines are a tech that's going to have to change in the future. I don't really see a way that they can stay the same, and so I'm going to avoid using them as much as possible. Let's go ahead and... whoops. see if we can't just dig out like so. Yeah, how we operate this is going to be a question. I'm tempted just to do it on a manual switch, because one of the also big problems that you face when launching rockets is that you don't have control over the rocket landing, so you need to try and set things up so that you can open these in time for a rocket to land. Which is a little frustrating. Idle dupes. I just need to create more jobs. Let's go ahead and deconstruct this, and we will deconstruct, deconstruct, deconstruct. We need to do a little bit more work. Alright, so we have a bedroom set up. We have all of our Wheezewort seeds planted. We have both of these broken at this point and no one coming to repair them. No oxygen is getting down here is the issue. There's no O2 left in this atmosuit dock. Okay. Interesting. A little bit is coming down from here, but not a whole lot. So one of the things we'll probably want to do is pump down some CO2 down to here, because we have a decent amount of it here, and pump a bunch of oxygen up around here. I think that is the plan. Okay. So let's go ahead and say that, yeah, we have a lot of this ready. We can create an O2 line coming back over to here, because we don't have this system running is a big part of it. So we're not getting the oxygen down here. What is the gas pressure like? Not that great. Not a lot of air pressure here. There's a good amount here. Yeah, okay. So, while I'm waiting on some other stuff to finish. Oh, what is this spaghetti that I've created? Oxygen coming down here. This pump will pump things into here. So it's pumping into this gas filter, but then emptying here. Okay. Let's go ahead and just repurpose a lot of this. What is powered at the moment? This is also going down to here, which I don't really care to have running, but this is powered. Yeah, let's go ahead and deconstruct this, because there's no point in having this run right now. I just want to make sure that I'm not pumping anything. Actually, I don't need to do that. Okay. What was I saying? Ventilation. I want to take basically these two pumps and have them pump down into here is the plan. So these right now, these are all connected up. This produces CO2. So this is basically a big CO2 line that's linked up with all of these. So let's just take these pumps and we're going to make them pump down into this system as well. And we'll do that by deconstructing this gas bridge and then just having them connect up. This building we can enable, this building we can enable. Okay, so that'll help us pump out the CO2 from down there. And the next thing we want to do is we want to take our oxygen line. This one kind of works fine. Do I want to mix our input and output lines? Not really. Okay. Let's go ahead and then set up some gas pipes. We'll make them out of igneous rock. And they will run just like so. we'll create our central oxygen line. Whoa. We'll create our central oxygen line here. And this will be used to supply the industrial zone, but also be used to supply anything else that we need in the base operational with oxygen. So, just run it like this. And I think we are just going to deconstruct all of this setup right here. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to deconstruct this, set this to be a priority 8, and then deconstruct this, deconstruct this, deconstruct. None of this power stuff is needed anymore, so we can all deconstruct this as well. We're going to say priority 7 on all of this deconstruction as well. And then we are going to go back to ventilation, gas pipe, igneous rock. How do we want to do this? Let's have it a little bit off to the side. Run it through these right here and into here. And then we're going to run this just down across here, I believe. All right. Looking good. Yeah, we'll just do this. And then we will do a gas vent. Iron ore is fine. Let's put one right here. All right. Let them go to work on that. What is this temperature at? 23.6. That's fine. This is all pretty good. It's a little hotter up here because we don't really have heat shielding, but this is going to be fairly cool. All right. So we're going to create a sort of an oxygen line coming down here, which is then going to pump into this, and then we're going to rework these. We need to do a couple more changes, don't we? Yeah. Okay, so we would like to deconstruct this as well. Set that to be a priority 8. So I don't want the oxygen coming out here, do I? And this is also going to be a priority 8. How are we doing on filling up these? We're close. So we'll need to kick that can down the road again. Alright, so now all the oxygen will be going down into here. That's good. And we disconnected that, so we are ready to go ahead and gas pipe, igneous rock. Just connect up basically all of these lines, right? Just like so. Oh, and we want to deconstruct this. Do that at a priority 8. Okay, do we have... Yeah, because we're no longer, in fact, interested in filtering any of this. We're full up on all of that stuff. Okay. So now it should all start going through this line down here. Oh, no, because we have it the other way around here. Okay. Deconstruct that. Set this to a priority 8 as well. This is priority 7. Okay. And now, ventilation, gas bridge, igneous rock is fine. Switch this around. And now everything should be flowing in that way. Set this to be a higher priority as well. This will help clear out the CO2, get it down to these slickster farms. And how are these not... Set these back down to 6s. I don't need this many slicksters. We can always make more. Okay. How are we doing? Now we're pumping CO2 down. And it's going to the correct places. Alright, good. A little bit of oxygen is coming down here with them. We can live with that. Okay. Perfect. Alright, that took a little while. How are we doing? Oxygen is now flowing down and should start filling up this place. That's good. Alright, we'll need to come back here in a little bit once that gas situation kind of settles. But let's go back up here and see if we aren't ready to work a little magic and turn our steam on. These are awaiting delivery. That's fine. We'll also want to sweep up all of this, minus these shovel eggs. Suppose we do need to make more of a steel enclosure around here. At the moment, we don't really have something really keeping shovels out from coming in through here. We'd like to not have shovels in our base. Alright. I'm pretty close to calling the episode. There's sort of one other thing that I want to accomplish, though, and that is get this steam apparatus turned on. I think we'll wait till the next episode, though. Alright, I'm going to cut things here, and I'll see you guys next time.